Memento Mori Moment 4. Who did Jacob wrestle with? Jacob lived in Paddan Aram for 20 years. From the beginning, he never thought of Laban's household as his true home. His plan was to gather wealth and people and one day return to Canaan. During his final 6 years there, Jacob greatly increased his own flocks. While caring for Laban's animals, he placed peeled branches in front of the animals when they came to drink. But branches cannot change the markings of newborn animals. Jacob's real method was selective breeding. When strong animals mated, he selected the pairs that were more likely to produce animals belonging to him. The weaker animals were left for Laban's sons. While everyone watched the branches, Jacob was studying the bloodlines of the flocks. When Laban's sons noticed what was happening and changed the agreement, Jacob changed his method to fit the new terms. But Jacob told his wives, "Your father changed my wages 10 times. Jacob blamed everything on Laban. Then he carefully calculated the day and time of his escape. He chose a place where he could set up camp, before Laban's tired men caught up with him, and where he believed he could defeat them if they attacked. But the old wise Laban did not attack. Instead, he made a covenant with Jacob, blessed his daughters and grandchildren, and returned home. The first war Jacob expected never happened. But Jacob's heart did not change. He still trusted no one, and Esau was waiting in Canaan. Perhaps Esau had given up his plan to kill Jacob many years earlier. Perhaps Rebekah had even sent Jacob that news. But Jacob had kept his plans secret and had closed himself off from Laban's people. The most important message, the message that could have freed him from fear, never reached him. For 20 years, Jacob had been creating another Esau in his mind, an Esau filled with revenge, an Esau waiting for him, an Esau who would certainly kill him. Then Jacob's messengers returned and said, "Your brother is coming to meet you, and 400 men are with him." To Jacob, they were not a welcoming party. They were a trained army. He divided his family and possessions into 2 camps. If one camp was attacked, perhaps the other could escape. He sent several groups of animals ahead as gifts for Esau. Then he sent his wives and children across the Jabbok River. Jacob was left alone. Once he crossed that river, Esau's sword would be waiting for him. At least, that was the world inside Jacob's mind. That was Jacob's memento mori moment. That night, a man appeared and began to wrestle with him. Jacob did not even know who the man was. He probably thought this was one more enemy. They wrestled until daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower Jacob, he struck Jacob's hip socket and dislocated it. Jacob, who had spent his whole life running from danger, could no longer run quickly. But Jacob would not let the man go. "I will not let you go unless you bless me." The man asked, "What is your name?" "Jacob." His answer did more than identify him. Jacob meant the man who grabbed another person's heel, the man who used other people's weaknesses, the man who deceived others, but always believed that he was the victim, the man who judged every neighbor by his own suspicious mind. Jacob was admitting who he was. Then the man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel. Do not continue as Jacob, judging your neighbors through your own fear. Become someone who can see the face of God, even in the face of a person you once believed was your enemy." That was the blessing Jacob received through his struggle with God. It also left him wounded. The sun rose. Jacob, who had distrusted everyone and tried to protect his life through calculation, died beside the Jabbok, and Israel was born, a man who limped but still crossed the river. The next day, Jacob did not hide behind his family. He went ahead of them and bowed before Esau 7 times. But Esau did not draw a sword. He ran to Jacob, threw his arms around him, kissed him, and wept. The Esau Jacob had feared for 20 years did not exist. For the first time, Jacob saw not the brother created by his fear, but the real brother standing before him. Jacob said to Esau, "To see your face is like seeing the face of God." Jacob's body was weaker than it had been the day before, but his eyes had become new. The eyes that had seen only enemies now saw a neighbor. And in the face of that neighbor, Jacob finally saw God's good rule. The gospel does not create a kingdom of God that did not exist before. It opens our eyes to the good rule of God that has always been around us. The blind see, the deaf hear. But what do they see? They see the face of God, in the face of someone they once believed was an enemy. So whom did Jacob wrestle with that night? Was it the unknown man? Was it Esau? Or was it Jacob himself, the man who had spent his whole life turning everyone around him into an enemy?